Stargate is one of the most beloved franchises in science fiction television. Beginning with the original sci-fi adventure film released in 1994, the story's unique premise captured the imagination of audiences, sparking the creation of a new sci-fi universe. This universe continued to be enriched and expanded upon through several beloved television series. The circumstances surrounding the rights to the franchise after the original film's box office success became more complicated, and recently, Roland Emmerich spoke about why that hindered his intent to develop a Stargate film trilogy. Speaking with Joe Blow at the recent San Diego Comic-Con, Emmerich responded to the idea of spearheading a new Stargate TV series, saying, quote, "The problem there is, it's a very, very difficult IP. Different people own the IP, and it's very, very difficult to do stuff like that." In this video, I'd like to break down Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin's original plan for more Stargate films, examine their insight on the complicated environment surrounding the rights to the IP, and the hope for the continued expansion of this beloved franchise. The original film Stargate, which was co-created by Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, revolves around the mysterious and ancient ring-shaped device capable of generating a wormhole, allowing instantaneous travel to a corresponding device located in a distant part of the universe. Central to the film's plot is the exploration of the intriguing idea that extraterrestrial beings have significantly influenced the development of human civilization. This concept serves as the foundation for unraveling mysteries and legends of ancient Earth cultures and their potential connections to advanced alien species. The film was a box office success, grossing $200 million on a relatively low $55 million budget, and laid the foundation for a rich franchise that would go on to span multiple TV shows, books, comics, video games, and made-for-TV films. The growing hostile environment for the franchise on the rebranded Sci-Fi Network, which was pivoting away from the science fiction genre for its content, unfortunately led to the premature cancellation of Stargate Atlantis in 2009 and Stargate Universe in 2011, followed by what has turned out to be an extended dormant period for the once thriving IP. However, back in 2014, it was announced that Emmerich and Devlin would reboot Stargate with a new trilogy of films, starting the story from scratch and bringing it to completion by the third film. They developed the idea for a couple of years, but the project eventually fell apart. Dean Devlin, in an article by Yahoo Entertainment, broke down the complicated rights issue, saying, quote, "You have to remember that the original film is an independent movie. We raised the financing ourselves, and then MGM distributed it. Then, just before the movie came out, the studio bought the film away from our financiers, and suddenly we didn't own the film anymore." Though this ended up being a smart move on MGM's part, considering the film's commercial success, this complicated their plans to move forward with any feature film sequels. Devlin elaborated on their vision for more films, saying, "Roland and I had fallen in love with the idea of taking things that are part of our own mythological subconscious. The first movie asks, did aliens build the pyramids? The second one was going to deal with, why are there pyramids in Mayan culture? The third one was going to tie everything together. We were going to have the Yeti. We were going to have the Loch Ness Monster. It was all going to make sense how these things are tied together." In regards to James Spader and Kurt Russell's possible return for the sequels, Devlin explained, "It would have been very expensive to bring them back, but I think they would have come back because we all enjoyed making the first movie." I have to admit that the premise for these sequels, particularly the story elements surrounding the Yeti and the Loch Ness Monster, are a bit hard to imagine fitting within the foundation set by the original film. I am of the opinion that the following Stargate SG-1 series continued in a natural progression from the first film and is in keeping with the inspiration of Devlin and Emmerich in diving into other myths and legends from the different cultures of Earth and finding the truth behind their origin. Though it is hard to form an opinion regarding the involvement of Emmerich and Devlin in a potential new Stargate film or series without knowing the specific details surrounding their use of these legendary monsters of folklore. I do admit it would have been fascinating to see a different take on the Stargate franchise, one that delved deeper into mankind's known history with the Mayans, and by using more of these classic myths and folklore as a foundation. Regardless, Emmerich has made it clear that he is no longer interested in the franchise. Continuing his remarks at Comic-Con when the Joe Blow interviewer said Emmerich should be the one to make Stargate if anyone's going to, the filmmaker said, quote, "Yeah, but I don't want to do it really. I gave up." So as it stands currently, it seems that the legal environment of this franchise is so complicated, Emmerich doesn't want to deal with it anymore. The current status of the rights issues surrounding the IP has grown even more complex since MGM was purchased by Amazon for $8.5 billion in March 2022. The next year, Deadline reported that there were discussions surrounding revivals of several established IPs, including Stargate. Deadline sources reported that Amazon had plans for both film and TV installments, with a movie likely going first. Shout out to Gateworld, who recently broke down the entire complicated history of the rights to the Stargate IP. I'll leave a link to their article in the description below if you'd like to check it out. In light of the current landscape surrounding Stargate, Gateworld points out several possible ways forward for any potential project, either to seek input from the TV series creators such as Jonathan Glasner, Brad Wright, and Joseph Malazzi, and continue the continuity they established, or buy out those contractual obligations with a large sum of money, or reboot the franchise entirely, starting completely over using none of the characters and concepts from the television shows. Personally, I have more confidence in the creators behind the television side of the Stargate universe than I do in Roland Emmerich. Emmerich's most recent film, Moonfall, was so monumentally awful that I really don't want him leading a new Stargate project. At the end of the day, anyone looking to tell new stories in the Stargate mythos must understand what truly makes the franchise special. While the idea of exploring myths and folklore in Emmerich and Devlin's Unrealized Trilogy is intriguing, the heart of Stargate lies in its characters. The original film captivated audiences with its premise of alien origins intertwined with Earth's ancient cultures, but it was the chemistry between its characters, particularly the dynamic between Jack O'Neill and Daniel Jackson, that made the story so special. This well-crafted character work was essential to the film's success and became the foundation for the SG-1 series, where the relationships among their team and the extraordinary challenges they faced together were key to the franchise's long-term prosperity. But I'm curious to know what you think about the details that were revealed about this lost Stargate film trilogy. Do you think Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin's original story treatment for their reboot would have been a good addition to the franchise? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Stargate and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to show your appreciation, you can check out my Patreon page, where members get access to exclusive content and perks. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.